Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm Andy Murray from WhatCulture, and this over here, maybe there, I'm not sure, is my very good friend Adam Nicholas
That's
from
me.
WhatCulture. Hey, it's just gone 3:30 in the morning. We've just finished
Ah,
watching WrestleMania 36 on the WhatCulture live stream. Thank you for showing up if you're there. If not, don't worry, we're here. We're going to tell you what went down on night one of WrestleMania. There's a lot to get through, as you can imagine. The stuff at the end of this video might be better than the stuff at the beginning, but let's start at the very beginning. Kickoff show, nice little match. We didn't get the Liv Morgan-Natalia match that was pre-advertised. Weird. Lost in a vortex, but we got Cesaro versus Drew Gulak. They did a good job, man. They had the kind of match you'd expect. It wasn't long, but they did some nice work on Cesaro's arm throughout this match. Drew Gulak, of course, really solid technical wrestler. One of the most underrated guys in WWE. Proved it here again. Came across really well. In the end, though, it was Cesaro taking the victory. His arm was too buggered up from the solid arm work of Drew Gulak to hit the neutralizer. So he just kind of hit this no-arm airplane spin thing. It was cool. It was creative. The match was solid. About as good as you can expect from a kickoff show match in a empty arena.
yeah, I don't think I can give you any more on that. That's probably the best summary you're going to get. And from there, we moved straight into the main card. Now, obviously, anticipation was high. What were we going to get at WrestleMania, Andy Murray? We weren't sure. But we started off the night with what everybody says: if you're not going to be on last, you want to be on first. And apparently, the women's tag team titles was going to be the match to take the cake, which was the Kabuki Warriors versus Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. Now, had to get used to the setting. Obviously, we had the pre-show match, but straight into this one, you could tell that they made it feel like that was, even though there wasn't an audience, these guys and gals, I say guys and gals, the gals were so loud during this match, weren't they? Like really expressing themselves when they were making the moves and genuinely trying to make it as much racket as possible, I guess, to fill the empty arena. But ultimately, a solid match from both tag teams. We saw the Kabuki Warriors, a lot of jovial, having fun from them too. But ultimately, it wouldn't be good enough on the night because they managed to get dethroned by the wonderful little tag team of Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. Now, I know what you're thinking. It's WrestleMania. Was that the big deal that we wanted? The tag team change? Well, it doesn't matter if you want it or not. We got it. Whether or not it should have been waited for a bigger moment, who knows? But ultimately, Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross walked away as your new women's tag team champions, much to the applause of the two commentators who were there on the night.
Yeah, this was a unexpected result, but hey, man, Nikki and Alexa had a good run with the belts beforehand. Maybe they'll have another good one again. This is a fun match. I really enjoyed the loudness of the communication.
That was real house show vibes in this match. It's hard. We were obviously having to juggle between doing the live stream and watching the match at the same time, so we were getting dragged a bit back and forward. But the big thing that I took away from it was just genuinely like it felt like a house show match. They were having fun. They were taking the mic. They were doing spots where it was just interactive, not the kind of stuff you would say on Raw or SmackDown normally.
Yeah, they were enjoying themselves, and they had a good match with a title change. First one of the night, obviously, because it was the first proper match of the night.
Of course,
Andy. Yeah. I dead. So up next on the card, we had the big grudge match after they did murder on SmackDown the other week, complete with the whoosh boom noise thing when Baron Corbin obviously launched Elias off that balcony thing that they have. Here we go. So we have pre-match promo. Baron Corbin's cutting it. He says, I'm here, I'm at WrestleMania, but Elias is not here. So straight away they're teasing that this thing might not actually happen. But eventually Corbin's being Corbin, he's gloating, he's being a fanny. Then the guitar strum throughout the arena. And hey man, it's Elias. This guy got launched back first onto concrete the other week, but he's okay. He's not even walking with a limp, because he's just so hard. Elias. He's so damn tough. He kind of killed Corbin with a guitar before the match even started. That told you it was going to be a wild, heated brawl. It wasn't really a wild, heated brawl. It was all right. These guys had the kind of match you might expect. Lots of brawling back and forth. Not a whole lot to it, but it was what it was. It was an Elias Corbin match. It's never going to be 5 stars in the Tokyo Dome, but it doesn't need to be 5 stars in the Tokyo Dome because we got 2 stars in the Performance Center. This one ended rather controversially, I guess. Handful of tights from Elias on the Corbin pin. The babyface wins by being a bugger. Adam, what did you reckon of this?
I reckon Baron Corbin looked very upset at the end of this match. Yeah. And rightly so. He was done rotten by Elias. But I guess, given everything we've seen, I guess it made sense. He got the win. And really, I think you pretty much summed it there. Not a great deal to write home about this. I think it's fair to say from the first two matches, they weren't setting the stage alight in any way, shape or form. It was just the show getting underway. But we did then move into a big match straight after this one, which a lot of people were anticipating, which is Becky Lynch versus Shayna Baszler. Now, obviously, the Women's Championship on the line here. We've seen a big build to this match. The big surprise of the night, I guess, I think for me personally, is that Shayna Baszler didn't come away with the belt. She was actually defeated by Becky Lynch. Now, I should point out in this match, Baszler was pretty dominant throughout, to be fair. She smashed Becky Lynch. We've seen her do that thing where she puts people, like holds them by their legs and smashes them off things. She did this to Becky off the commentary desk. She was working on Becky's leg from the very start of the match, chopping it down, just genuinely doing Shayna Baszler type things. Anybody who's watched the takeover match before, she is brutal, she is vicious, and she is absolutely clinical with everything she does. Becky Lynch did get a little bit of offense in. There was a few attempts where she was almost had Baszler down, but mostly you'd have to say Baszler got the majority of the match. However, as we got to the closing of the match, Baszler went for the Karabuta clutch like she gets, went to get her down, was looking to put her away, and Becky Lynch managed to flip herself over, use the momentum, and hold Baszler down for the quick pin 1, 2, 3, escapes the grasps of the Queen of Spades. This time, at least, Andy Murray, we weren't expecting this, were we?
No, not at all. Not at all. Very surprising result. Looking at the live stream chat, it's not really resonated all that well with a lot of people who really wanted to see Shayna Baszler come away with the belt here. So they're going to have an interesting situation with regards to Becky Lynch, I think, coming out of this as well, because for ages she's been this big popular figure, but you make the odd booking choice here and there that people disagree with, and that can change quite quickly. So but controversial result aside, I thought that the work leading up to the finish was very, very good.
Definitely.
It's a shame that the conversation will largely revolve around the booking. I guess it's understandable in a way, because it's something people want to see and it's something that happened. But yeah, man, it was a good match. Really good, solid stuff. You kind of felt that they hated each other, and that's what you really want. A lot of matches, a lot of people, a lot of performers on this card worked out that with no crowds, you have to work a little bit harder, like hit a little bit harder, work a bit snugger, as some people would say. But yeah, this was good stuff.
And I think the other thing that was noticeable there was the sort of quick finish maybe would have played out better in a big crowd, wouldn't it? There would probably have been a fair reaction for Becky Lynch managing to get that win just at the last minute, but there's nobody there, so they kind of have to do whatever they can just to get the reactions from us, I guess, which I suppose have got everybody talking, which is the main thing. It did make me wonder if Vince was taking this seriously as a pay-per-view, though, or whether indeed he takes Shayna Baszler seriously as a title contender.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's leaves them a very interesting situation to book their way out of, but hey, man, that's the game, isn't it?
That is the game.
Up next after this one, we had the Intercontinental Title match. We had Sami Zayn and his gang of lovely men against Daniel Bryan, who was out there with Drew Gulak, of course. This was really good. I mean, you didn't get the... you look at these two names and you think, man, these guys could have a real work rate spectacle. It wasn't that. It was kind of a mix of really great wrestling, as you'd expect from these two, and the shenanigans. The guys on the outside coming into play, Sami being the great liberator, being the little rascal scamp heel that he is, that we know him as today. It was a good mix. All of the seconds got involved. Drew Gulak ended up wiping Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro out. They were over the barricade, but they came back into it towards the end. Bryan was kind of preoccupied by them when they came back in. They came back over. They took Gulak out. Bryan jumps off the top. He takes him out with a dive. It was a suicide dive. He didn't come off the top rope. Then he goes up to the top turnbuckle. He tries to leap into Sami Zayn, but Sami catches him with a really cool haluva kick. Kicks him out of the sky. 1, 2, 3. Sami retains via shenanigans. This was really good stuff, and on this card, another thing that just really kind of worked. They had a layout, they executed it well. It was a really nice balance between skill and just tomfoolery.
Yeah, plenty of Sammy being a heel and running away from stuff and making it feel like, to be honest, we were talking about him mid-match. He's just so good at being that character, the guy who's like, he was sniveling. And obviously when Drew Gulick got rid of Shinsuke and Cesaro, we saw that side of him. And then as soon as his boys are back, he manages to use that to his advantage, gets the win. The Helluva kick out the air was amazing. Really enjoyed that. And ultimately, Sami Zayn retains the Intercontinental Championship and lives to fight another day. I've got a feeling this is going to be a long run of his, you know. I do. I think he's going to hold it for a while. And I think it's something I am here for. But we moved on then, Andy Murray, to what was meant to be a tag team match originally, but actually ended up being a triple threat ladder match between John Morrison, Jimmy Uso, Jimmy Uso, got it right, and I've now forgotten the other person, Kofi Kingston was, of course, the other man in this match. This was probably the first match we got where we thought, holy sugar, I'll say it because we're using this as a video. They took some real rough bumps in this match for a match that was behind closed doors. Really, I mean, as you would expect, a good athletic spectacle from these three. Plenty of back and forth. The ladders came into play almost immediately. We had all three men up at the top fighting immediately inside the ring. But we had a wild spot where Jimmy Uso was up on a ladder and got pushed onto the outside from literally like about 20 feet up and landed down on the like outside on the apron, hit the floor. It was not nice. The cameras didn't catch it, almost as if to spare him the pain, I guess, to a certain extent. We had John Morrison doing a corkscrew onto a ladder, which I think it was the Uso Jimmy who was on. It was all, as you can imagine, a ladder match and a bunch of tag team specialists who are used to putting these kind of matches together. It was fantastic. But the finish was one we thought was quite well thought out and maybe would have gone down a lot better, again, with an audience. But ultimately, all three guys were at the top of the ladders, respective ladders, got unbuckled the titles, but all three had a hold of the, is it a coat hanger, I guess we'll call it?
Yes,
it's a belt hanger now. They all had a hold of it. There was a bit of a tussle back and forward. You could see there was a ladder they were on, plus a ladder that was in sideways within at the bottom, which we thought someone was going to fall through. Well, it turns out John Morrison was the man who did the fall, but as he fell, took both the belts with them. And ultimately, The Miz and Morrison retained their titles against all odds. Who would have thought it? Well, John Morrison, clearly, because he was very happy with himself at the end. A creative finish to a match that it might not have ended up panning out like that. I think a lot of people might think this was a bit of a weird finish, but we were kind of into it.
Yeah, man, they worked really hard. They took some big risks and they hit some big bumps for a non-existent crowd. You know, a lot of people will look at that and say, oh, that's silly, they should protect their bodies. And, you know, there's a good argument to be made there. But at the end of the day, I was fairly entertained by this. It was the kind of car crash you kind of hope that these ladder matches are going to be. And, you know, when we heard primarily like a week or so ago, there was probably going to be a triple threat with just singles wrestlers, you think, oh, well, that's a bit weird for a tag team title match. But, you know, these are three really good wrestlers, three really good athletic wrestlers. Lots of cool stuff with the ladders. Poor Jimmy's back took an absolute pounding here.
And his front, I forgot to say, Kofi actually threw a ladder at him at one point, and it came up the wrong way and smashed him across by his clavicle. Had this massive gash on his body.
Crazy stuff. But again, I really enjoyed it, man. What can I say? Like, there was a good chance coming into this pay-per-view that we were going to hate it. Up until this point, it was a really good show.
Really, really good. Great stuff.
And continuing a theme from the ladder match was Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins. Now, this one almost ended extremely disappointingly and in a way that would have wrecked just everyone's enjoyment of the whole show.
Yeah.
We had, you know, some good heated brawling stuff. They're having a really good Seth Rollins versus Kevin Owens match. There's like a really nice DDT in particular from Kevin Owens that Seth sold really well. Solid, great stuff. But then it gets to the technical area at ringside and Seth clocks Kevin Owens with a bell. The ring announcer goes, well, you know, just a DQ, brother. I'm sorry, brother. Yeah. And everyone's like, oh my God, no, not a DQ at WrestleMania for this feud. But Kevin Owens, he's saying no. He gets the microphone and says, hey, Seth, you're not getting off that easy, to that effect. We're going to do this. We're going to end this now. It's going to be no DQ. Better man wins, all that stuff. Keep in mind that Kevin Owens is just taking a pretty heavy shot with a goddamn ring bell. His clock has been cleaned. He's down. He's suffering. He's struggling. Seth takes full advantage. He beats the absolute piss out of poor Kevin Owens. But then Kevin Owens loses his goddamn mind. He fights back. He goes round the back of the set. Seth set up on the table here, and Kevin goes round the back of the set. You know straight away what he's doing. He climbs up the WrestleMania logo. He hits a back senton off the top of this goddamn thing. Insane stuff. When they slowed it down and then sped it up, you really caught the full velocity of this thing. But that leads to the finish effectively. Gets him back in the ring. Stunner. 1, 2, 3. Done. Rivalry over. Whew, this was really great, especially for a match that went down in an empty arena. Kevin Owens has taken some crazy bumps in the past. We've seen Braun do crazy stuff with him off the top of the cage, all kinds of other stuff. He's not afraid of falling and landing and hurting himself. Props to him for that spot. Really good, well-worked match. Felt like these guys hated each other and they wanted to murder each other, which is how these matches should go down.
Couldn't agree more. I would love to add more to this, but I realise we don't want to overstretch this. So what I will say is, though, that felt to me like probably the match of the night for me. That one, genuinely really good. And I think, despite all Seth Rollins' claims, Kevin Owens, even in an empty arena match, has managed to get himself a WrestleMania moment in diving off the stage, or not even the stage, it was a set to the side, a big sign. Watch it. It was wonderful. Now, what you and I have been waiting for. We've probably got about just under 4 minutes, I reckon we've got to wrap this in. And I think it's not enough, but I will quickly start with Goldberg and Braun Strowman. We weren't sure how this was going to go down as a match. It was put together literally last minute on SmackDown. A case of, hey, look, Braun's wrestling Goldberg. Well, guess what? The match was exactly the same. It wasn't even a car crash or a catastrophe. It was just hilarious. Basically, exactly what you thought this match was going to be. It was pretty much that. Goldberg hits Braun with 3 spears, one after another. It's just madness. Goldberg is gassed out of his mind at this point. Then Braun kicks out of the 3 spears, and then in an attempt that Goldberg pretends he's going to jackhammer Braun Strowman, a man who only managed a snap suplex against bloody The Fiend and Bray Wyatt. Braun turns it around. Next thing you know, we get a trio of power slams, not even the normal power slam to its full extent from Braun Strowman, and then it gets finished off with one gigantic power slam. We've seen 7 moves, technically, 3 spears, 4 power slams. Braun Strowman is your new Universal Champion, the Blue Universal Champion. Braun Strowman has ticked the box. Me and Andy Murray laughed our arses off at this match. It was so ridiculous. Bill Goldberg is absolutely gassed, and he only did get power slammed. Andy Murray, your quick thoughts on this one?
Goldberg did 4 spears, Braun did 4 power slams. That was the match. It was
unreal.
It was hilarious. It was hilarious, and Goldberg was gassed, and it was funny.
And that's it. That's what you need. Let's stop pretending, stop beating around the bush. Let's really talk about the match that you and I both want to talk to. Andy Murray, the floor is yours.
And it's a shame that we don't have 20 minutes to talk about
I know.
The Boneyard match. Oh, God, the Boneyard match. Starts. A hearse comes in. What's in the back of the hearse? A couple of hooded druids. What do they open up? And it's the bag. It's a coffin. But who's in the coffin? It's not the Undertaker. It's AJ Styles. Head games. The Undertaker comes in, but he's Biker Taker, and he's got a Metallica theme song for some reason, and he's going through this graveyard. I don't really know how to summarize this thing, guys. Trust me, it was just the most delicious junk food you've ever seen. Now, in terms of things that were earnestly awesome, right? The production of this thing was incredible. It looked like a B-movie. Like, the graveyard setting looked ridiculously great. It was shot really well. It was edited really well. It was cut really well. Biker Taker was there. He had his levers on. They were talking trash to each other the whole time. It was hilarious. Making threats, calling each other words that you shouldn't probably say. Undertaker dropped a hard F-bomb at one point. But it was all you expected and more. They brawl around tombstones. There's a hole in the ground that obviously someone gets buried alive in later on. Brawl on a roof. There's fire. Gallows and Anderson are there. There's a bit where Undertaker gets surrounded by like 7 dudes. He beats them all up.
A fence falls down and reveals 8 random druids who apparently work for Gallows and Anderson now.
AJ Styles, a gainful employer. But they fight on a roof. Like, this, AJ gets thrown off the roof, then he gets kicked in the hole. He ends up getting buried alive, brothers. Undertaker gets on a little JCB thing, tips the dirt in the hole. You just see AJ's little glove sticking out.
It was like, I'm not even kidding, straight arm up in the air like this with Styles on it.
You gotta see this match, guys. And then it finishes off with the closing scene. Undertaker gets on his bike, looking all tough. He's won the match, puts his arm up. There's an explosion. The Metallica hits. There's lasers, the logo, and guys,
just go and watch it. Honestly,
watch this match. It's the most insane thing you're going to see in wrestling all year, and we're saying that before there's a goddamn Firefly Funhouse match tomorrow. I'm aware that might be setting us up for failure here, but this thing is ridiculous. You will never see anything like it again.
The most sports entertainment thing you could ever imagine, and I'm not gonna beat around the bush here. You may not have had certain thoughts about WrestleMania. You may have thought this, you may have thought that. Ultimately, for the last hour of that show, myself and Andy Murray were the most entertained, probably the last hour and a half, to be honest, the most entertained people in the building that weren't in the building. Genuinely, it was ridiculous. It was sports entertainment at its finest. Completely stupid. Sharknado meets wrestling, that kind of thing. It was stupid and it was ridiculous, and we will never, ever forget it. The Undertaker gets the win and drives off. The ending shot of WrestleMania Part 1 is the dead man driving off on a motorbike. Amazing stuff. Honestly, just all round a summary of the show. I guess we weren't expecting a great deal from it. We knew it was going to be wildly unpredictable, and it was. It didn't really do anything to blow anybody's socks off. But again, nobody was really expecting that, I don't think. If your expectations were that high, I think that's more on you than it is on the show itself. Andy Murray, your last thoughts before we sign off for the night?
This was just a weird show. Like, it was always going to be strange. It was always going to be a unique experience. But this time, man, there's so much bad stuff going on around the world at the moment. It's such a crazy time that any little drop of enjoyment you could be gleaning from this, you kind of had to really try and squeeze everything you could out of it. Forget about stuff, enjoy your escapism for a while. If you went in with that mindset, I have no doubt that you would have gone in and had a good time with the show, as we did. The last 4 matches or so all had like something to enjoy about them in your own unique little ways. Everything, I don't think there was anything on this that I can point out and say like I had a bad time watching. No. And at the moment, that's all you can ask for. Couldn't agree more. My sentiments exactly. And I guess with that, before we fall asleep and kick off and can't do any more of this, shall we wrap this up and go to bed, Andy Murray, on WrestleMania Night Part 1? Let's do it, man. I'm full of sports entertainment right now. Damn right. Well, thank you very much for joining us. For anybody who came to the live stream as well, we appreciate it. This has obviously been what went down. I realise Andy Murray started this video, but I'm going to finish it because it's that time of the night. If you want, you can follow WhatCulture on Twitter at WhatCulture WWE, or you can follow myself or Andy Murray. You can find me at It's Adam Nicholas on Twitter, or you can find Andy Murray. Sorry, you can find me at Andy H. Murray. The H stands for holy hell, I need to go to bed, and that is evidence. Perfect. All right. Thank you, guys. Part 1 done. Excitement for Part 2 comes tomorrow. See you next time. See you later.